Well, our first guest today comes to us from Rochester, New York. He's the state deputy for the Knights of Columbus, and he's here to tell us about the great work that he and the Knights are doing in our Catholic Church and for our Catholic faith. Please welcome Art Harris to Good News. Art, thanks so much for being with us.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you back. You're part of the family, and you're where you belong.
Wonderful. Good feeling. Good feeling to be down here. Really is.
We were talking a little bit as the show began today about the recruitment efforts of the Knights, because I feel, anyway, at least from the places that I've been, that there has been a lot of success in the area of recruitment recently. Is that the trend you're seeing?
Yes, it is, Monsignor. I have a big program going on this year with recruitment and retention, trying to keep the Brother Knights in as long as bringing new members in. Matter of fact, starting next Monday, I'm embarking on a 3-week campaign across New York State. It's going to be called the State Deputies Fireside Chat.
Wow.
To talk to every Knight in New York State I can possibly get together with. And I'm going to be traveling with the State Membership Director and a Supreme Representative called the Membership Program Consultant out of Supreme. The three of us are going to go around, talk to all the Knights, talk about the things we need to do to continue to grow, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done out there. And we are losing Knights because we're growing older, but we've got to bring in that young crowd to help replenish those ranks, because we're still an army of Christian soldiers, and we got to replenish those ranks.
There's no doubt. Very necessary, right?
Yes.
Very important. Well, listen, this is what I have for you today, too. I have my completed form. Because
Get
that's
out.
I'm ready.
You're ready.
You got to count me in, because it took, we talked about this a lot of times. There's so many councils that want me to join. So now, you know what? This is not going to be my problem anymore. I want to be a Knight. So here is my
I will
form.
personally sponsor you, Monsignor,
Oh,
and
how
I'll make sure that all this takes happen. And this is the biggest surprise of all. Thank you.
Wow, that is
very,
so
very
great.
grateful.
Pleasure.
I am.
To bring you into the order.
It is such a long time coming, and I am honored to be a part of this, and I look forward very, very much to being welcomed into.
My staff will be contacting you, and we'll get this taken care of ASAP.
That's
thank
great.
you very, very much. It's been too darn long,
Oh,
Yes.
my gosh.
So is this how it works if someone wants to become
On
a
TV
Knight?
usually it works.
Yes,
They get up to here, go on a show.
I'll be done. How about yourself or your
We
family?
were
just talked about it, Art.
discussing that. Yeah, my father was a Knight when I was growing up. It was such a big part of our lives. And then, as I was saying, helped me get through college. I won scholarships to the Catholic University of America through Knights of Columbus. So I said I would love for my husband to become a Knight. And then, Father Jim, you were telling me I could be a Columbiad.
All good Knights always carry
Hey, look at this.
There you go.
Form 100. There you go.
Thank you.
Give that to your husband. Get it back to me, and we will take care of that.
She just
too.
said before you came into the studio, she said it on the air. She said, I'm going to get my husband to join.
All right.
And I said, that's exactly what I'm doing.
So does he need a
wonderful
sponsor?
day.
Is that
I will
the way that
sponsor
it
him
goes?
also.
Okay, great.
That's
Karen, we know the boss.
You got
We're
the
in.
boss.
We're all set.
You got the man. It's
Well,
going to
thank
sponsor
you.
you both.
Thank
That's
you.
wonderful. Thank
Well,
you.
talk to us a little bit about your role, because I don't know if everybody totally understands what that is to be the state deputy, because it's an important role to play in the Knights, right?
Yes. As the State Deputy of New York, currently in New York State, we have 95,000 Knights of Columbus across this great and wonderful state.
Wonderful.
Wow.
They are basically my responsibility. I have a large administration of directors and state officers that assist me in taking care of those efforts. We try to get out there and work with them, train them, in all types of education in the Knights of Columbus, our faith even, and to combine them both, once again, the faith with the Knights of Columbus, and to get out there and help the less fortunate. We had a great year last year throughout the order and even in New York State in helping the less fortunate. The National Council last year throughout the order gave away or donated $57 million to the less fortunate, and we put in some 60 million hours of our million hours of our time in volunteer work, which is what we are. Now, you put a dollar value on the volunteer time that Washington does, as you know, to find out. Last year alone, the Knights of Columbus donated $1.1 billion to charities and the less fortunate. And we've been doing that for the last 10 years.
And now, why would you not want to be a part of something like this?
Right,
and it's a Catholic organization.
Yes.
Why would you not want to be a part of something like this?
It's a wonderful, wonderful
I kind of kick
feeling.
myself for not doing this 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But again, I'm so glad to be able to say now, let's go. Because, and the other thing too is like I'm also like so devoted to the Knights because you are so devoted to us. just a brief thing about your support of seminarians, because you have supported people who are priests this very day and people who are about to become priests.
Yes, I just got the notification 2 days ago in the mail, a matter of fact, from our Supreme Knight Carl Anderson alone. There were 6 more seminarians in New York State that have received the Father Michael J. McGivney Seminarian Award, excuse me, and another 12 that got the repeat award from last year in New York State alone. It's going to help them through their seminary work.
And I know a seminarian, as you do too, John Sorrow, who received some monies from the Knights of Columbus from a local council so that he could go study Spanish at a Spanish institute this summer. So he'll be able to better serve the people that God has called him to serve. See, that's the great work that you do. And unfortunately, it doesn't get a lot of press. And I guess the good things don't often do, right?
No, we are the best kept secret.
Don't you think?
Out there, and I'm trying to do that by getting out more, getting around the state, and talking to you here, and talking to the people out there in the public. And as I travel and go to the banquets and events, and then talk to the brothers and sisters in Columbianism, you have to do that. You've got to get the word out.
Talk about the amount of miles you've driven just in the last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh. Yes, just this past year alone, I put 68,000 miles on my car. My wife and I, we have a wonderful time traveling the state.
Isn't that
driving from Rochester all over the state, and just meeting the people, breaking bread, going to. I've been to so many churches in New York State and met with all the bishops. Just wonderful. The priests, they've been super wonderful to us whenever we travel, wherever we go. I have a priest up in Whitehall, New York, right now, Father Flannery. That contacted me yesterday because his local council went out and raised $50,000 to help the restoration in the church.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
And he is so excited. He wants the Knights to publicize this, and that's not a problem. I will take care of it and make sure this small council in upstate New York near the Albany area does things like that. We do this so often around the state.
How do you do most of your publicity? Is it website or is it just man-to-man, face-to-face, driving around?
Well, we've improved. This past year, I put a state director for communications on my staff.
Nice.
He works at Xerox in Rochester, so he has that inside edge.
Oh, good.
And he's done great communications work for me across the state. We have a whole new website out there called NewYorkKnights.com, all one word, that people can go out and visit. That has a great deal of this new stuff out there. I've started a webinar program.
I remember
Matter of
seeing
fact,
that,
on Monday night coming up, we have our next webinar in New York State. And this is a whole new concept of talking, training, getting the point across where people don't have to leave their homes and drive an hour or two to a meeting place, have a meeting, come home, and later you can sit there in front of a computer at night and talk just like you're on Skype.
Isn't that wonderful?
And do the same thing.
So, I mean, you have caught up, really, with technology,
which
is a great thing.
Of course, my background in the IT world helped that a little bit,
Well, that's what I was going to say. You brought tremendous gifts to that, too, which is an amazing thing.
Yes.
Now, how's the tenure go with your role? Like, how many years are you in this position?
I'm in my second year of my administration, and as of June 30th next year, my administration will be over. The next state deputy is coming out of the Long Island area, and they're preparing down here for the candidates that are going to run at the May convention for that top position.
Oh, that's
We've
terrific.
got some good candidates coming out of the Long Island area for next year. I've had a wonderful, wonderful 2 years. It's been great. And where I go from here, it's anybody's guess.
I got a friend in the business. That's what I feel.
That's right.
And by May, I'm in, right? This is not going to take a long
You're
time.
in. You're automatic. Right? No problems.
Thank God. I want to get all that stuff going,
You're in.
Because I remember I was visiting a priest recently and had a sword in his room, Monsignor Brennan.
Yes.
And he had a sword in his room. And I said, you know what? I forgot about this. I have to get that application, get it going right now.
Yes.
And the sword was a reminder to me.
Look at that.
So not that he was going to use the sword if I didn't do it.
He didn't do it.
Many of our priests are given that as a gift. As they come into the order or as they join the fourth degree of the order, which is the color corps that most people will represent us by out there.
Certainly.
With the guys in the capes and the plumes at the church, etc.
And when you see a mass on television or something like that,
yes.
you see it all the time. That even at a papal mass, any of the papal masses that occur in this country, of course, you see it as well. And then even any of the masses from any of the cathedrals, wherever you are, right?
And you can see the New York Knights in action come January 23rd at the St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York. That's the annual New York State Pro-Life Mass.
Oh, wonderful.
His Excellency Archbishop Dolan will be the celebrant, and you're going to see color corps line the entire aisle of St. Patrick's
Isn't that
Church,
beautiful?
Yep.
plus all the other dignitaries in the different colors that we have, too.
Yeah, that's
it's
wonderful.
a beautiful, beautiful service.
Now, if people are watching out of state, too, I wanted to mention that, too, because,
Yes.
people are watching all over the place. There are councils in your area, no matter where you are. It's every state of the United States,
Yes.
right?
Yes, we have 72 jurisdictions in the Knights of Columbus across this great order.
Okay.
We have 1.8 million members in the Knights of Columbus currently. Every state in the United States has a large state jurisdiction, too. We're the largest in the United States, second largest in the order next to Quebec, Canada.
Okay.
Texas is coming up fast on our heels, and that's why we've got to recruit to keep ahead of them, too, but they're doing a lot. I've also, this past year, started a whole new program with the Hispanic community in New York State.
We were talking
I've
about
got
that, yeah.
many, what I call state coordinators working in every diocese in the state right now. I have a big meeting down here next weekend on Long Island with my Hispanic community.
Oh, good.
And looking forward to increasing the Hispanic population in the Knights also.
I just spoke at a community breakfast for one of those councils in Long Beach, brand new council.
Oh, yes.
And they were great. They had great energy. And again, anywhere you go with anything with the Knights of Columbus, you're going to find energy and you're going to find
Yes.
committed people.
Yes.
It's unbelievable, but universal. So to me, it's just. This is something
Yeah,
that
that's true.
it's just a great way to live your Catholic faith and a great thing to do. It's really
Yes, it is.
And it sounds like you have your finger on the pulse of what's going on, right?
You
you're
have
very
to.
up to
You
date
have
with-
to, because it can get away from you very easily if you don't. You've got
Yeah.
to watch everything. And, of course,
Yeah.
I got a great administration that's behind me and keeping me up to date also.
That's great.
And just getting out there,
Yeah,
getting on
yeah.
the road makes a big difference because
sure does.
people like to see the boss,
And
as
you're-
you say,
and
come
you're-
around.
yeah, and
So
you're there.
It helps.
It's great.
It really
Well, Lord, I
helps.
can't thank you enough for
Yeah.
coming
Oh.
by, and I thank you for accepting my application and for sponsoring me too.
Yes.
And for my future application.
Yes, please.
There we
Karen,
go.
It's coming.
It's coming. He'll do it
There's
too. I
one
know he will.
coming.
Great.
And now we just have to get everybody out there to
Yeah.
call their nearest council and
Jump on board.
participate. Jump right on
Sounds good.
board.
Why
Follow
wouldn't
suit,
you?
There's
everyone.
something to do with everybody in every walk of
Sure.
life.
It's absolutely
because there's
true.
such an untapped resource of knowledge on top of our shoulders that we can use for the less fortunate in the Knights of Columbus.
Exactly right.
That's right.
And it's putting, really putting the rubber to the road. That's what these men
Yes.
and women do every single day of the week. So
Yes.
thanks so much, Rod, for taking
My,
time to be with
my
us.
sincere pleasure,
And
Monsignor,
come back
to
again.
be here with you.
The door is always open here at Telecare.
Oh, I will
You're
make
always welcome,
myself
okay?
known. Yes.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Monsignor.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, Karen's going to be joined by a very talented performer. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Don't go anywhere.